It is a YouTube live.
Started, sir.
The link அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன் பாருங்க.
Okay, sir. இன்னும் வரல சார்.
இந்த வாட்ஸ்அப் பண்ணுங்க.
அதான் not yet received. இன்னும் வரல.
வாட்ஸ்அப் அனுப்பிட்டேன் பாருங்க.
வந்துருச்சு சார். போட்டிருக்கேன் சார் குரூப்ல. சார் ஃபேமிலி குரூப்லேயும் போட்டுருங்க சார். சார் சார் ஜூம்க்கு வாங்க சார். நீங்கள் வாங்க. கீனோட் அட்ரஸ்.
ஹலோ
சார், கீனோட் அட்ரஸ் அப்போ எப்படி சார்?
ஹலோ
சரிங்க சார். ஓகே சார். தேங்க்யூ சார். சரிங்க சார். Keynote special person. Hello. Tilaka ma'am, is it audible? Tilaka
Yeah,
ma'am?
audible, sir.
Okay ma'am. Balaji sir? Balaji sir? Ma'am, I think principal is so busy with some other work ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
We can.
sir, I am available.
Sir, ma'am வந்துட்டாங்களா?
இருக்கேன்பா.
ma'am, இன்னும் join.
Ma'am, shall we start the ma'am? Start the program ma'am?
என்ன 251.
1 minute ma'am. Principal is online ma'am. Sir, சொல்லுங்க sir.
இது சார் மேடம் வந்துட்டாங்கன்னா ஜாயின் பண்ண ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறேன். இன்ட்ரடக்ஷன்லாம் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறேன். அவனை பார்க்குறேன்.
Hello. Tilaka ma'am, is audible?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am,
Audible.
principal is coming ma'am.
பணம் அன்னைக்கு யாராவது ஃபோன் பண்ணா அதுக்குள்ள முந்திட்டு பணம் கேட்க ஃபோன் பண்றீங்களா?
ஹலோ ஹலோ
சார் சார் வந்துட்டாருங்க.
ஹலோ
குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன் சார், பாலாஜி.
சார் குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன் சார். குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன் சார். பழைய சார் இது ஹோஸ்ட் இவர்கிட்ட கொடுத்துருங்க, நாங்க கண்டக்ட் பண்ணி நீங்க ரெஸ்ட் எடுங்க. செக்ரட்டரி உங்ககிட்ட வேலையை வாங்கக்கூடாது அப்படிங்கிறது
ஆஃப்லைன் சார்.
ஒன்றும் இல்லை தலைவர், நீங்க அவர்கிட்ட கொடுத்துருங்க. இது வரைக்கும் நடத்த சொல்றாரு, அதுக்கப்புறம் இனிமேல் எதுவும் பிளான் பண்ண வேண்டாம் அப்படின்ட்டாரு. கேக்குதுங்களா?
கேக்குது.
அதான், அதாவது இப்போ இன்னைக்கு ப்ரோக்ராமு நாளைக்கே 17/1 இருக்குது, 20/21 அதோட ஸ்டாப் பண்ண சொல்லிட்டாரு. இது வரைக்கும் பிளான் பண்ணது மட்டும் பண்ணுங்க, இனிமேல் ஃபியூச்சர்ல யாரும் பண்ண வேண்டாம் அப்படின்ட்டாரு. நாளை காலையில அங்க அந்த காலேஜ்க்கு வந்து அந்த இதெல்லாம் கம்ப்ளீட்டா அந்த சேஃப்டி மெஷர்ஸ் எல்லாம் பார்க்க சொல்லிட்டாரு. நான் காலையில வரேன்.
Shall we start the program, sir?
ஆமா நீங்க இவரு இது வந்து சார் பிரகாஷ் சார்
கொடுத்துட்டு சார் எல்லாரையும் கோவர்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டு
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாமா சார்? இப்போ
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்க சார்.
இல்ல சார் காணுமே, பிரின்சிபல் சார் அவர்கிட்ட
கேட்க வந்துட்டார் லைன்ல சார்.
பிரின்சிபல் சார் இல்லையே சார், அவரு
சார் இருக்காரு, ஆன்லைன்ல தான்
சார்.
பிரின்சிபல் சார் பிரகாஷ் இஸ் ஆன்லைன். ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமான்னு கேட்கிறார் ப்ரோக்ராம்.
பிரின்சிபல் சார் கேட்கலையே சார் அவரு. பிரின்சிபல் சார்
லெஃப்ட் சார், லெஃப்ட் மீட்டிங். ஸ்டார்ட் தி ப்ரோக்ராம் சார். டைம் ஆஃப் பீப்பிள் ஆர் ஜாயினிங்.
ஃப்ரீ ஆயிடுச்சா சார்? சார் ராமச்சந்திரன் சார்.
Hello.
Sir, shall we start the program now, sir?
Okay, sir. No problem.
Please, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to one and all, and warm welcome to all. In this auspicious occasion, I cordially welcome our management member in absentia, and I welcome our honorable chief guest, Dr.R.Ramachandran sir, who accepted our invitation to perform this program. My warm welcome to our principal and vice principal ma'am and all the heads and faculties of various departments. I extend my cordial welcome to all the participants and students and non-teaching staffs. Once again, I welcome you all. This is the time for keynote address. I request our principal to keynote address. Principal, sir.
Hello.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Dr. Ramachandran.
Sir, கேக்குதா நான் பேசுறது?
Is I am audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Sir, ma'am, principal இருக்காங்களா லைன்ல?
Sir, principals have left the session, sir. Now again joining. Hold on.
Okay, sir. Principal, sir.
Just now he's joining, sir. Hold on.
Okay, sir.
Joined. How we can address?
Principal, sir, kindly address the gathering, sir.
Sir?
Sir.
Shall I speak?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of Sri Chandraprabhu Jain College Management, I cordially invite all of you and all the participants, and as well as the keynote speaker of today, Dr.R.Ramachandran, Associate Professor of Commerce from Annamalai University, who is going to deliver a talk on the environmental issues in this pandemic era. And it is one of the most needed topic, as the environment in which we are living today is totally ignored by all of us. And as a result, there are a large number of problems are there. And right now, an expert is with us, and he is going to address on the environmental issues, what are all there, and how we are going to, address these issues. Because already we heard about that, because of this COVID-19, almost all the transportation services in Delhi and other neighboring areas have been stopped, and all the activities have been stopped. And it is possible for us to see the Himalayan, range of hills right from Chandigarh as well as Punjab. So it's mainly because of that the pollution level has come down, and it is now Himalaya is visible. So like this, COVID-19 in some areas it has helped us, and some areas it is also affecting us. So these are all the things which I wanted to share with all of you. So first of all, let me express my sincere thanks to the Department of Plant Biology and Biotechnology, Head of the Department, and Eco Club Coordinator, Dr. C.P. Prakash, for taking this initiative. I'm also welcoming our Vice Principal Ma'am, as well as Secretary Sir and Advisor Sir, for granting permission for conducting this Eco Club meeting today. So thank you very much. With these few words, I'll hand over the session back to Mr. C.P. Prakash.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
This is the time to introduce our chief guest. Ishwari ma'am, kindly introduce the chief guest, ma'am. Ishwari ma'am.
Yes, sir. It's audible, sir.
Please, ma'am.
Good afternoon to one and all. It's my privilege to introduce Good afternoon to one and all. It's my privilege to introduce our honorable chief guest, Dr. R.Ramachandran, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce in Annamalai University. He did his M.Com, M.Phil, and a PhD in Bharatidasan University. Since 1992, he has been faculty at various colleges, and he is working as Associate Professor in Annamalai University from 2012 to till date. He published 5 books, including Consumer Behavior, Management, Accounting, and so on. He has been a member of Academic Association, editor in Advisory Board, and a review panel member. He received various awards such as Shri Rajiv Gandhi Gold Medal Awards for Excellence in Individual Achievements, Best Teacher Award, Best Paper Award, and Award for Outstanding Research Paper, Academic Professional Award, Best Lifetime Achievement Award, and Best Research Advisor Award. And also he published more than 80 papers in international and national awards, journals. He attended various international and national conferences and symposiums.
Hello. Thank you, ma'am. Sir, shall we start the session now? Ramachandran, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We start the session begins now, sir. Please, sir. Just
Shall I start, sir?
yes, sir. You start
Okay.
your you share your screen, sir, now.
Okay. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir. Please, sir. You
Okay,
start.
okay.
You start now, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Bro,
It's
sir,
a
thank
very
you very much for joining with us.
okay, definitely, sir. Definitely. I am very happy over to
ரொம்ப நல்ல நாளா ஜாயின் பண்ணி ஆடி மாசமும் அதுவுமா நீங்க தான் ஆரம்பிச்சு வைக்கிறீங்க அண்ணாமலை இருந்து.
சரி சார், ரொம்ப நன்றி, வாழ்த்துக்கள். ரொம்ப உங்களுடைய blessings விஷஸ் ரொம்ப நன்றி சார். வாய்ப்புக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
It's a great pleasure. Good evening to one and all. I place my sincere thanks to Sri Chandrababu Jain College, Minjur, Chennai, the Honorable Secretary, Sri Lalit Kumar O. Jain, sir, the principal, most respected, the principal, Dr. V. Nagajodi, sir, and the organizing coordinator of this online webinar, Dr. C.P. Prakash, sir, and also head of the Department of Plant and Biotechnology, and the coordinator of this program, and all the faculty members, particularly who introduced me at the beginning, Dr. Iswari ma'am, Department of Plant and Biotechnology, and who is going to give a vote of thanks at the end, Dr. M. Tilagam ma'am. For all these people, I will be a great pleasure to salute you for granting a permission and providing me an opportunity to be a resource person on this great occasion on this first day of the Tamil month. My dear participants and beloved friends and learned colleagues, it's a great pleasure to be known over to discuss about the impact of COVID-19 in various spectra. As we come across COVID, which have been originated from China, Wuhan, which is spread over to various countries, with the exception of some few countries, especially New Zealand and Germany and some other Finland, Cuba and Iceland. Namely, how this COVID-19, corona, which have comes over to impact majorly on socio-economic, culture, political and geographical, topographical, all these factors which comes over to a combined discussion of environmental issues. So environment is a gift of made by the planet Earth, of which we have to go on to discuss how this makes the change in environment, how this has been make a change in environment over to a positive as well as in negative perspective, how this environment is be optimistic, how the environment is pessimistic over by the influence of COVID-19. So as you know, very important issues, this pandemic era, this pandemic situation, pandemic period goes on to a violent changes over in different fields. As with regard to the ecosystem of environmental, we have to go in for to consider into different parts of the globe. First, we classify into African countries, then we go for American countries, then we come over to Asian countries, and finally we touch over the Oceania countries. So altogether the global purview on eagle eye view has to be taken into consideration, how it have been major influence on climate change with the effect of the coronavirus in the globe. As also with regard to the human beings participation over this part has to be made over by the carbon dioxide, which leads to major cause of global warming before the coronavirus. As we also has to identify, also to make out how this pollution, water pollution, air pollution has happened as over to play major role in different parts, different areas, different scenarios of this globe. Finally, we come out to discuss the traffic flows in selected cities in the globe. At last, we come to understand how these pipelines of the fuel make over to the control the airline capacity by the heat of the corona. And finally, we come to a conclusion remarks over for our discussion. As my dear friends, as you've been very clearly see, nature is beauty, nature is powerful. We can't go in for to control, we can't go in for to manage, we cannot go in for to act according to the whims and fancies. What the order of the nature, what the law of the nature, everyone, every individual, every living thing or non-living thing might have to follow. That's the order of the law, that's the order of the planet, that's the order of the globe, over to follow its parameters, over to have a suitable and fashioned lifestyle. So with regard to the emergence, with regard to the birth of COVID-19, as results over to lockdown leads to physical distance, social distance, and many factors which goes on to heal the planet in many parameters, particularly in the living history of human beings. So you see, nature mother is largely dependent of the human beings. There will be no other factors. So every individual, every society, every factor has to depend on the law of mother nature. And over that to what? Preservation of the natural resources and sustainable development and survival should be the essence. So if any individual is going on to reluctant over to act to differently, certainly it affects over to the environment and it affects the ecosystem and leads to complexity issues and also makes over to complicated factors. Over in this scenario, we might have to understand how the nature has made us to understand in two ways. First one thing is our actions can very well impact the earth sustainability. So the earth has been major role as go on to the changes in factors of the human beings due to the corona impact. There will be some pessimistic as well as optimistic improvements. And secondly, also there will be earth can be saved in a positive way over by means of the lockdown as well as by means of physical distancing. As regards to the global scenario, first we take into consideration the issues happened in the pandemic era. What will be the situation in African countries? If we go in for to see an eye view of South Africa, in case of South Africa, air pollutions have been significantly and prominently weakened during lockdown period. As you have been very clear, as you have been very obvious, which have been major changes, because South Africa is an exception which may not be much affected by COVID-19, but due to the environment, due to the economic system, the air pollution standards have been weakened. So it comes to a positive side over for the nation, and it goes on to a big role over to strengthen its ecosystem. That's too by means of establishing the greenhouse formation and control the CO2. And moreover, there will be a transition to clean, renewable energy have been emerged, and the transportation system has been made over to reduce the air pollution and greenhouse gases emission, and the impact of future pandemics make over to a great success in that particular nation. Moreover, there will be a risk of illness leads to such a cause of the pollution, makes over to a heart disease and respiratory issues, something that has a direct impact on those suffering during the coronavirus, particularly in South Africa. Moreover, there will be about 1 in 8 deaths around the world are caused by air pollution. So out of 8 people, 1 person is died due to air pollution. After this emergence of this pandemic situation, it comes over to 0. And moreover, there will be an extreme weather events. There will be ups and downs in the temperature. There will be oscillations in the temperature and also in the and also in the climatic conditions over to have a negative and positive impacts over in the public health of the society. And as regards to Egypt, which will be come under the umbrella of African country, where you have been very clear by the diagram, by the picture image, you have seen the Nile River, which comes to be a fresh river in Egypt due to COVID-19 pandemic. The water has been purified. There will be no contamination. There will be no pollution. The water has been readily to be made for drinking purpose. No need to put over for carb. No need to put for some chemicals or to put for some petro products or to mix for purification. It comes to a negative word for purification, and it comes out to a success, particularly in country Egypt. Moreover, the lockdown comes over to a success in control of the water pollution, and major hazards have been drastically reduced from March 20 onwards, so as on to the day till now. Since from March 20, though it emerged in end of December, started in Wuhan in China, where it has been up to the date of now. There will be a reduction, there will be minimization, there will be no that much of incidents, there will be no that much of accidents took over due to what many artificial or natural or by case of water resources. So it will be a positive signal, it will be a positive side over in country Egypt. Over in case of Nigeria, which may also be an African country, which have come over for long needed or for climate change being. So the country has been experienced greatly over this situation, and there will be 5% of CO2 emission, which comes over to which comes out to down, and there is only a temporary reduction in the pollution and the CO2 emission due to the stay of cars and the aircrafts on the ground. So as you know very clear, my dear friends, there will be no physical movement. There will be ban of prohibition of physical distance, social distance, and there will be no transmission. There will be lockdown for the industries. There will be no flights. There will be no transport. Totally, the supply chain system, the logistics management comes over to halt. So what happened? The industry has been shut down, and all institutions have been closed. So what happened? There will be no supply chain. There will be no demand and supply for all kinds of products except essential. Due to that, what happened? CO2 comes to a minimum, and there will be fly of cars, vehicles, and the aircrafts also comes to a very low level that leads to a great success due to the pandemic environment. Over to this, we might have to consider in case of Nigeria as a case, there will be what results over to this ecosystem or biodiversity changes. What will be the way forward? The first one thing is improvement in electricity grid. So they are following the electricity grid, and thereby there will be enormous production. Leads over to success, and it will be in a surplus, and which goes on to the country to export to the other nations on subsidy rates. Moreover, the smart agricultural system has been adopted, reforestation and efficient gas generators have been applied and implemented over in the case of Nigeria for the success for the development on the parameter of environment as well as biodiversity, particularly on ecosystem over in Nigeria. As we come to discuss on American countries, particularly we might have to know what will be the significant role of United States of America. As you have been see the picture, as which you have been gone very clearly as an experience of India, which gave a big shutdown by clearing the air, but pollution will return as economies reopen. Macroeconomics of consumption, buying, selling, production, standard of living, and poverty comes over to what? Different pictures. So that what happened in case of United States of America, and due to the COVID-19, the pollution, particularly air pollution, has opened the doors for economies, goes on for production of more products, where there will be no physical distance strictly followed by the people of United States of India. As you know, there will be a war, there will be an internal war between white and black, and that's also results over for what? Government of Trump over to be not to shut down the major business. The Trump clearly comes out to media, clearly says the economy is the first and life is the second. Whereas India is different and the rest of the countries are different. Still, United States of India has not made out to shut down majorly some major concerns. Business institutions may be closed and it will be in the hands of their owners, and due to that results, economies have reopened and it will be a great success for the country. And clean air and blue sky are temporary, whereas in case of United States of America, because of their policy and because of their practice and also their procedures and also moreover their rules and regulations in particular state of the country. And moreover, greenhouse gas pollution and global temperatures are still arising, whereas in case of US. So as you know very clearly, as I also want to say that our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji wants to go on to make a cautious over in BRIC nations, BIMSTEC nations, and also in BIMSTEC nations over for calling the big nations, G5 nations, or to come over to an alignment on solution over for global warming. Whereas the US state president has clearly stated global warming is not a major criteria. But now what happened, there will be a different thing goes over for the United States, what the greenhouse is a major cause which comes over for the nation, which is still they are experiencing more and hike due to what? Various reasons. But the people at the beginning, at the commencement of the pandemic, they are in staying home, driving less and taking fewer flights and cruise ships. So this is the side of the government and this is another side of the public and society. And what will be the case in Brazil? Brazil has announced it is taking a back enforcement duties for protecting the Amazon from accelerating deforestation, which could lead to the release of massive amounts of greenhouse gases. As you know, my dear friends, learned participants, the temperature, atmosphere on the earth, it has been very visible over in the image, which hits majorly the earth, reflected on some grounds, which leads to hot, and which also goes on to earth warm, very cool and very clear and very free from pollution. When the atmosphere is very closer to earth, when it is far away, the sunlight power is very heavy, and that results to what? That results to a maximum application, maximum adaptation, maximum involvement of the practice of this all these types of forestation, and also going for against to greenhouse policies, which leads to massive amounts to cost of greenhouse in case of Brazil. Brazil, as you know, as we also very clearly understand that Brazil is a much affected country due to Corona, which also had a good experience, particularly to protect the Amazon, goes on to gain on duties to gain more benefits. Due to that also, they have been gained and benefited due to the effect of greenhouse effect. And as another country of namely Peru, what the country has experienced, and Latin American, which reacts to the sanitary and economic measures against coronavirus. As this country has mandately announced in only 16th March 2020, whereas their approach was territorial environmental planning, has been considered majorly over to give a solution and conclusion for socio-environmental problems. So it's a very small country which wants to give a much importance to socio-environment rather than socio-economic environment. So the country gave much importance to territorial environment. So they have given much importance due to the advantages and pessimistic and optimistic issues over on different corners due to this pandemic, but they take into a positive side and optimistic side, make over to focus on territorial planning, and which leads to their success for more production, and which also results in controlling of corona and leads to rapid mobilization and stabilization and continuation of economic growth in Peru. And as regards to another nation in America, American countries, we may see Chile. So Chile became the second American country after Suriname and the seventh in the world to publish an updated national climate action plan under the Paris Agreement to curb global warming. It comes under the NDC protocol and also committed to become a carbon neutral by 2050 as a policy and an objective of a goal of the Chile. And it comes out to a warming emissions now projected to peak in 2025. The setting of 2030 goal, which makes a cap on emissions control, it may be an annual, and which also results to a goal cut emissions for deforestation by 25% at the end of the decade. So as due to the fact, as result to agreement with the NDC, what happens? The Chile becomes a great success. Now it gives a hands for Chile, which goes on to apply the greenhouse and green policy, and which makes over for the great for the South American country, which leads to a success in 2030. There also it makes a great attainment of a neutral environment free from carbon in 2040, and it leads to be a neutral in 2050, where it will be a great success for Chile for due to corona pandemic. As you see, another country, Mexico, is a very small country which have been majorly affected by natural disaster, namely often volcano, which will be a major issue in Mexico. People are much affected by volcano. Suddenly it will be happen. We can't expect. So nature is powerful. As I already told, nature is powerful. Nature is beauty, as everyone has to obey for the nature. So here, COVID-19 pandemic is changing the behavior of the people in terms of climate change and environment. So as we can't see, even in case of Asian countries, particularly you see in India, what happens a few weeks back, there will be an earthquake happen in case of Rohtak, in case of some cities in Haryana, there will be an happening of what? There will be an happening of earthquake to the Richter level of 2 point something. And it leads to a minor cause. There will be no major cause, but there will be insects flying over here. And what happened? The people behavior, the people personality, attitude, perception has totally drastically changed because of this climate change. What climate change means? Not hot and cool, because of this physical distance, social distancing, and wearing mask, and also wearing gloves for the hands, and maintaining distance among the people. So what happened? This behavior has given much goodness for the people of Mexicans, and also give good resources for mitigation and adaptation strategies. Finally, the nation comes out to a change in education program, will act as a way to promote environmental eco-friendly and behaviors among all the citizens will be favorable, even present and future pandemic. And next one, we go to Canada. What happens to Canada in case of environmental issues? As we might have been seen, the toll on almost every aspect of the lives of Canadians have been increasing, and it is also an experience which goes on to a positive increase in the virus leads to illness, suffering, and anxiety. So this has been spread over all the nations. It's not exception to Canada, and it also made to Canada over to miss the greenhouse gas reduction target it has set even right now in 2020. So it has a proposal. Canada is having a proposal which have to be applied as like Mexico, as like Chile, as like Peru, which comes under the friendly nation of America, US, which has to go in for to apply this so as to reduce its target even in case of a post-pandemic. And as regards to another nation which come under the American countries, air quality in Cuba. It's very clear from March 1 to April 5, even now, the situations in Cuba has been experiencing good. And it will be a time outbreak only in March end, which comes out to America or at the beginning, at the end of February in 2020, it have much impact in Cuba. So Cubans are having good air quality. Already they have good air quality, and people are breathing fresh air, and they are having good water, and they will be very happy over this outbreak of corona. But of course, we have to think over another issue of health parameters. Over it may lead to a negative side over to control the virus, wearing mask and keeping distance of 3 feet over for social distancing and physical distancing, avoiding large gathering. And also greenhouse emissions in case of Cuba, where agriculture, transportation, industries, electricity. These are all the prime issues. These are the prime industries which goes on to make an emission. So it has to be controlled. It has to be minimized. Whereas the forestation, whereas the pollution has been more, the biodiversity has been emerged as a challenging, and also simultaneously it leads to a major cause for the economic growth and the environmental growth. Eco-friendly ecosystem has been comes over to difficult in the pre-corona stage. And whereas agriculture, deforestation, and it leads to habitat loss, which forces animal species to migrate, generating impacts on them and on us. This is one of the ways agriculture relates to the corona. So as you know, this country, Cuba, is 100% based on agriculture, where they goes on very success. And with regard to politics, the city is given deer, beasts, goats, animals, the confidence to reconquer places where they once lived. As you know, they are happy. The animals, only the human beings comes under the umbrella of the houses. They have to be kept under the home. And whereas the goat, birds, animals, deer, wild animals, all animals are going over, roaming and moving here and there, and they are very happy. They are moving over to reconquer their places once they lived. That's the happening for goodness for the animals and other animals also, wild animals also, domestic animals also. So they are very happy over this pandemic because of good environmental climate changes. So with regard to conservation and the balance with nature is a prime concern and major concern for people all over the globe, and safety relies in part of regulations for places where animals needs and marketed. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very serious where the animals meats are marketed with the regulations and with the policy, with the norms framed over to sell and market in a safety manner, and their wastage are to be placed in a proper manner. E-waste or a wastage of this product should be put under the control over to maintain good environment. And human lifestyle also influence our vulnerability to these pathogens and zoonotic origin. So zoonoses are diseases that exist in other animals and get to infect animals. So zoonosis is a kind of a disease from animal to animal, where corona is a human to human. So like recently there will be another disease emerged due to bubonic disease in China, bubonic disease. There it is origin from animals, namely squirrel, and also from rat. Previously, we have experienced plague. So this leads to a major attack because of zoonotic disease, which have been in Cuba previously. Now they are relieving from that, and they are also having good climate conditions even right now. So what will be the case in America country, that is Jamaica, starting work on its second climate plan, consulted with the key factors, namely energy, the time around, forestry before the COVID hits. So these are all the experiences, these are all the practices, and these are all the things they have made over to do what happened. This corona makes over to a great success in manufacturing of more energy and time around. The situation policies created and established for forestry has been majorly hit before COVID, and right now it has been protected in Jamaica. And what will be the case in Asian countries? As you know, my dear friends and learned scholars, as you see, as a case in India, as we motherland, our nation, we might have to know what happens in India. as due to lockdown, when announced by our Honorable Prime Minister, beloved Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi ji, announced lockdown in March 2021, March 2021, March 21st. So this impact majorly comes over to a major effect. What the policy of the government over for this impact is same thing what announced by WHO in March 13th of 2020. March 2020, the WHO announced the corona is a pandemic. Corona is a pandemic. Only they comes out to announce only in March 13th. Okay, India announced on 21st lockdown. So immediately what happened? The sustainability becomes over much impact on economic parameters. What happens over for environment as well as biodiversity for India, for breathing pure air to a green trees and spotting various wildlife. Moreover, to the major cities, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, Delhi, Haridwar, and also Bangalore. Many countries comes out here positive sign over this corona impact on the part of biodiversity. Moreover, these environmental changes have been experienced due to lockdown, initially on improvement of air quality. As you know, my dear friends, when Chief Minister, namely Kejriwal ji, who is the Chief Minister of Delhi, when there will be more pollution of air, they announced the movement of cars on odd day and even day. Odd number cars on alternative days and even days, and likewise they made a policy over to flying of cars, vehicles in the city before corona. But what happened? Even school goers, college goers are wearing mask before corona because of more and maximum of air pollution in the city of Delhi, as well as also in Chennai, as well as also in Mumbai, as well as also in Kolkata. So what happened? This corona, which comes over in positive side, which comes over to affect only the economic sustainability, but there will be survival of life becomes a great one for the nation. And what happened in case of the capital Delhi, the government data shows the average concentration of PM 2.5 plunged by 71% in the space of a week, falling from 91 micrograms per cubic meter on March 20 to 26 on March 27 after lockdown began. So this is a great history, and there will be a great data which goes on to give a positive side, which affects the economic side, which goes on to a positive side, positive impact on developing the air quality in the nation, particularly our motherland. Moreover, you see, in case of Kolkata guards, dolphins have been spotted in the rivers, South Asian rivers, namely Ganges. Ganges or Hooghly River, namely called a Hooghly River in case of Kolkata, where you can see Ganges dolphins have been spotted back in the Ganges Ganga River after 30 years. Okay, after 30 years. So due to what happened, the pollution has comes to down, and South Asian river dolphin have been spotted at various Ganga ghats in Brahmaputra and also in Assam, and also even in case of Haridwar, even in Bangladesh, even it goes over to another countries, which goes a positive side after 30 years. Not only a case in India, but also neighboring countries of our nation. So what happened? We have to see that will be a positive sign in case of India. And also another important incident I might have to disseminate to you, that the number of flamingoes increased in Mumbai. Previously, it was in little in number, low in number, minimum in number. What happened due to this lockdown? This flamingos has been increased to maximum levels. There will be migrant birds comes over to the city of now Mumbai, and it numbered to 10,000 flamingos. It has been a drastic development. So there will be what normally migrant area which have minimum, and that's too residents have seen a massive increase this time due to this pandemic era. And moreover, Ganges is fit for drinking the water. as I told previously, the water in Haridwar, Rishikesh, as you have been saying, it is ready to drink water. When I am a small boy in Tiruchirappalli, where I am going to school, even my elders, my parents, even nowadays elders won't go for to take a water bottle in their hands. But what happened in every now the situation, now the trend has changed. Now every individual, even my son, every individual has taking water bottle when they are going to school, when they are going to college. Even myself, when I am going to college, university, I am taking water bottle with my hand. On those days when I am going to school or college, I never take water bottle in my hand. I take water in my college, university, wherever I wish. I will take even in tea stall, in restaurant. But now what happened? Even due to this environment change, because of human altitude change in the style, climate change, what happened? Now the water now ready to drink, the contamination, the pollution are reduced. So water is directly consumed by the human being, and there is also no need for chlorinization. Chlorine has not necessarily to for purification. This is the first time in the history of the world happened in India. It is experienced by Haridwar people, and they are very happy. It was not only for Haridwar, rest of the nation also, Punjab, Assam, and also for northeastern nation countries. And due to lockdown, the drainage system and industrial waste into the river, water has stopped and brought a significant change in the water quality. As you know, very clear, as it is very obvious also, the industry has been shut down, closed down. There will be no operation, there will be no production and selling activity, and it comes to stop down, and there will be no logistics, there will be no supply chain management. Total system of manufacturing, production, supply, everything comes to a halt mark. So what happened? Pollution created by the industries, thereby it comes to a stoppage. So water pollution has been, air pollution has been controlled in India in a dramatic manner. So what will be the case in our neighbor country, namely Pakistan, part of a country previously before independence of India? As you know, COVID-19 in case of Pakistan, Pakistan is much affected by economy as well as environmentally. So what will be the policy adopted by the country is, you see very clear, they want to protect the environment because of the industry is the survival, industry is the growth for economic development, and the employment generation through industry might have been enhanced, or for the economic growth, foreign exchange, foreign reserve growth, as well as GDP growth. For this, the country has framed a policy of greenhouse stimulus policy over for unemployed youth, which have been giving much growth, much employment growth, economic development for this kind of unemployed youth, particularly which goes on to planting trees, and which leads to plants, and which leads to success more than 150 in case of extreme level in 1919 to 2018. And they also see an initiative to plant billions of trees and plants, or to affect the climate change, or to overcome, and to give this opportunity comes under the policy of win-win policy of green stimulus over applied by the Pakistan government. Moreover, Pakistan lockdown started March 23, where the unemployed laborers and migrant laborers have been affected majorly, and they have been given new jobs as a jungle workers, put planting saplings as part of the country's 10 billion tree tsunami program. So this program is titled, named as a tree tsunami program, where throughout the nation of Pakistan, they might have been planting saplings over for develop the environment and to improve the biodiversity, and which will be the major challenging for the nation, and also for to develop the economy, and also sustain and to improve the GDP. And the Global Climate Risk Index, whereas in case of Pakistan, as issued by German Watch, ranked Pakistan 5th on a list of countries most affected by plant heating over the last 2 decades. The plant has been affected more, particularly on the part of Pakistan, which will be on the cadre of 5th among the countries in the Asia, issued by German Watch. So as you know, see another nation, which also a country of Bangladesh. You see, Bangladesh is undoubtedly facing a number of environmental changes, and there will be so many issues, and it's also facing some economic problems over for their survival, and this country may go on to experiences in adverse climate impacts in the form of extreme events like drought, cyclones, and floods before Corona. And unforeseen breakout of this, what happened? The things are made out to change over by means of relying on informing and educating the population, particularly the most vulnerable communities, listening to their concerns, then formulating and implementing new policies and regulations over to strengthen the policy for survival for the nation. And in case of the climate change, Bangladesh is at the risk to the maximum level, because as you know, it's a very economically back country. They are struggling in economy, and many countries, particularly India, is supporting on various grounds to Bangladesh. And you see, Bangladesh is expected to experience an increased average day temperatures of 1 degree Celsius by 2030 and of 1.4 degrees Celsius by 2050, according to IPCC report in 2007. That it indicates the anthropogenic climate change in Bangladesh are very clear, and it will be very flavor, and it leads to 2020 global climate change risk index comes to a 7th most vulnerable country on the globe, and which leads to a success and over a period to come over 2018, and which also comes out a major change in 2021 in Bangladesh. As comes to a discussion of Sri Lanka, which will be at the bottom of India, as you see, very small country in the globe. As long as the threat persists, economic downturn is more than likely to continue with a serious consequence for the whole world, particularly in Sri Lanka, where few countries with the greatest risk due to climate change. So there will be a minimum risk. There will be a minimum risk on the part of economic, because the population is less. Geographically, they are very less. Geographically, they are very minimum, and they are very very small in size of topography, and all this gives them to a great advantage over on the factors of climate change in the particular nation, also in case of Sri Lanka. So you see, they have imposed strict measures to contain the spread of coronavirus. So as you know, my dear friends, coronavirus is an RNA type. So what happened? It leads to a spread over like anything. We can't control. We can't see. It will be passed from one hand to one hand, from air to air. We can't imagine how it will spread. So what the America is experiencing now. So what happened? The government of small nation, Sri Lanka, comes out to impose strict measures over to control. Thereby what happened? They initially instructed to close the factories and highways. They have closed the highways, and they also closed all streets, whether there will be white zone or green zone, orange zone. There will be no classification of zones. They have totally closed. That will be the secrecy of success for the nation, and there will be no opening and closing, and there will be no reopening and closing. There will be no such a policy. They close the factories altogether. There will be no There will be no opening, and when the corona established, when corona has been identified, they implemented strict policy, whereas in case of Sri Lanka, and there will be also no restaurants, and the customers have been serving in their homes. So what happened? This will be a great success, and also goes on to a pollution side of air. We can see the urban areas has decreased by 75%, and the plastic pollution also comes to 40% low, and meteorological aspects has gone so to monsoonal change due to wind direction, and government imposed many regulations over from March 2020, lasted throughout April, May, June, July until date, and this period comes out a major success and improved majorly after corona, particularly since January 2020, and improved the urban areas like Colombo, where vehicle exhaust emissions account for most of the pollution. And also we can go for another category of country called Oceania. First we discuss about the Australia. Australia, you see, very, very rich country, which will be very sound in GDP, and also standard of living is very high, and economically sound nation in the globe. And many tourists which goes over for education. Education tourists are more in case of Australia, and as well as for Austria. There you see 1.5% of total world population comes over for what carbon emission. So they contribute only 1.5%. Population comes over to contribute only carbon emission will be very, very meager, very, very less. You can't say there will be no industry, there will be no factory, there will be no manufacturing concern. It is there, of course, but they are controlling the emission, and it will be 1.5% in case of Australia. And fossil fuels, especially due to flying of vehicles, comes out to export mainly coal to China and India, make up another 3.6% when it burned in case of Australia. Moreover, the lockdown had a dramatic effect in New Zealand air quality. So New Zealand is very new, kind of, though it has a new in its name, New Zealand. You see very clearly, New Zealand is much affected by corona. Finland, Iceland, Cuba, New Zealand, Norway, German. These are much affected. Even you see, I want to point out one point here at this juncture. As we know very clearly that the disease of what you say, polio. Yes, polio is a major cause. Previously affected majorly India. Now 0% in India. There is no polio patients in India. We are giving dosages. We are giving polio tonic dosage to the children up to the age of 5 years. Whereas in case of Nigeria, in case of Afghanistan, in case of even in case of Pakistan, there will be a patient of what you can say, this polio. So because it is hands of the people, because of the policy of the government, because of the systems, regulations, as like this New Zealand has applied a good policy over due to this corona pandemic, which leads to a dramatic effect on air quality, and noise complaints has dropped to 57.9%, around 60% compared to previous lockdown figures. So lockdown is not a new strategy for the globe. Already but it has since been replaced with the sounds of bird calls, and now the bird calls are being much more, and it will be very sound, and it will be very success, and choices can be made to create employment, rebuild industries, rebuild our export markets. It's also a major success for the nation, for the New Zealand. And another country, Guam. Guam may be affected in the coming decades as climate change prompts shift in weather, temperature, and it leads to oceanic acidity, according to Environmental Protection Agency. And educating the public is a major factor which leads to a great success, and control the climate crisis is the key factor for this nation. And as also to the climate change in this country, traffic almost disappeared. According to IEA, global average road transport activity fell to 50% of the 2019 level by the end of March 20 till now. Researchers say biggest thing hitting CO2 emissions right now is reduction in transport also. So moreover, the climate change has made over to a major success due to the pandemic. There are clear connections between COVID-19 and the climate crisis, climate change, and climate issues. Climate has increased livelihood of COVID-19 type pandemic through changes in the habitats of the disease, and also make into a success. For example, increased interspecies contact resulting from deforestation, and also health impact will not stop at infection itself, but will be amplified broad economic and social fallout. In short term, it exposes us to increased risk by means of following the guidelines. Then we discuss on carbon dioxide, how it leads to a cause of global warming as post-COVID. It has been estimated that the global response towards this factor, CO2 is the emission 2020 fall by about 8%, which will be sharpest decline in modern history of the globe. But unlike the temporary improvement seen in nitrogen dioxide and particulate matter, the decline in CO2 emissions will not reduce total atmospheric concentrations of CO2. And you can see the this graph, this trend which is going on, different scenarios, as already pointed out, the lockdowns in different 1900 to 2020. when Spanish flu emerged in 1920, there will be low emissions. CO2 is very less. So 1940, when 1930, 33, 36, 38, up to 38, there will be economic depression. In that occasion also, there will be what? There will be a low level of CO2 emission. When there will be World War in 1940, it has been in increasing, and in first and second oil shocks in 1980, it has gone to major level where there will be an change in economic policy. There will be GOT and WTO emergence and going for gaining more momentum out of economic activity, and that leads to what? Soviet Union collapse in 1990 and leads to many countries in Soviet Russia, USSR, and also makes in 2010 financial crisis in USA, financial crisis in US, where the banks are not able to recover the NPA. So what happened here in 1990 also, 1990-91, India also obeyed the policy of introduced the new economic policy and obeyed the IMF, IBRD regulation. New economic policy, liberalization, privatization, and globalization, LPG, and thereby all these things leads over to increase in CO2, thereby industrialization, globalization comes out to a maximum level that leads to what? In 2020 and even 2030, 40, 50, it will goes on to increase, thereby now to do due to this pandemic, it now over to control, and it comes out to decline level for this the current scenario. As in case of France, France is very popular country for tourist purpose. Many software companies are there, and many education institutions and health factors are people are moving over there from different corners of the globe, and where there is no large fossil fuel power plants or industrial sites. There is no fuel power plants. They, in their industrial sites, they are highly depending on electricity. That too comes from nuclear. So that is the success. That is the secrecy of the France, particularly in capital Paris. And also you say CO2 drop by 72%. It comes to plus or minus 15% in the month of March 2020 compared to normal. And you can see also this diagram when compared to New York, a city in America, New York, a city, a business city in America, where in the same period, CO2 falls around only 10%, whereas in case of France capital, Paris, you can see 72%. In compare with the America city, very business city, only 10% it comes to down. CO2 emission is more in case of America because non-cooperation of this policy and also not strict implications of this COVID-19 regulations given by WHO and other guidelines by WHO. And as regards to our another country, Nepal, very small country, you can see very famous for tourists also. This country is very popular for pilgrim tourists. There here, Nepali Times pointed out that a mountain above sea level can now be seen from more than 120 miles away from the Kathmandu Valley due to cleaner air. So from 120 kilometers away, you can see the Himalayas. So that will be the, see, to that extent, the air becomes purified due to this corona. Even within this short-term period, since from end of third week of March onwards, March third week till date now, so it has been purified. So many research studies has come over to study about the challenges and opportunities and what will be the way forward policy has to be formulated by the government as well as the scientists on eco-friendly over to develop and to maintain the same kind of situation over in the coming years. So in case of Nepal. So COVID-19 lockdown is preventing emissions harmful to the environment, as well as they are also following fascinating sight for the next time in years to come. So as you see, my dear friends, the lockdown period in case of Nepal, good air quality and improved to reduce vehicular emissions, which contributes 70% in Kathmandu and also leads to a successive decline annually in carbon emission 7% and depending on the duration of the confinement. Moreover, WHO 402 confirmed cases are there, positive cases are there in Nepal, and 2 deaths have occurred in coronavirus in Nepal, Kathmandu. CBS News reports that one study shows compared to 2019, carbon emissions have fallen 17% worldwide under coronavirus lockdown. So only 402, or even it will be 3-digit only minimum in number, but they are eco-friendly. They developed a great extent, and their future is great prosperous over in the part of environmental factor. And you can also see this diagram, this trend going on in different countries at the globe. You see Berlin, London, Milan, New York, Paris, Shanghai. You can see, compare the countries Berlin with Shanghai. Berlin with Shanghai. Similar in case of May, and also even now it goes on the same trend. Even now in the end of July 2020, the same situation is going on in Berlin and Shanghai, more or less similar in these two countries over in average consumption of the pollution. And in case of London, New York, and Paris are in similar because of strict measures and policies, guidelines, and they followed the principles and instructions of the WHO, and thereby they are in safer side and they are recurring, and their environment is in a positive and in a optimistic way. To 2029 recession, average oil demand dropped by 1.3 million barrels per day versus 2008, and now 2020 is set to average 10 million barrels per day, less than 2019. So the stoppage of air flights and stoppage of roadways, railways, band of movements of people, and many things over for overcome from the survival and life of the people, so that industry has been stopped. There will be no much production. Right now, it has been working under 33% of with the employees. 33% of employees are now, it has increased to 50% with the employees. There will be no full-fledged production capacity. 100% production capacity has not been utilized. The resources are there, but due to this corona panic, what happened? The usage of oil, usage of the things has come over to very less nowadays, and that leads to a success and a safer side for economic conditions. And another, as well as to this picture, you see 90% flights in case of Europe, whereas in US it will be the resilient with around half the number of planes taking off compared to last year. It will be change in the policy of Europe and Western. There will be some variations, and there will be difference hit by coronavirus. And globally, what happened? The demand for jet fuel comes to down 65% year on year to April, and that's true. The consumption curve comes to down to the end of April. It's continuing over for what May, June, July, and we come to over to the next one, that is the coronavirus. This is to spread across the world following a trajectory that is very difficult to predict. We can't know. Even WHO may not be still not knowing. Some team has been sent to Wuhan. How this, whether it is man-made or natural-made disease, anybody can't know. Even WHO is going on conducting some research studies, so we may not be knowing, and thereby it's very difficult to predict. And thereby we might have to know, be very cautious and overcoming all types of risk and stress faced by the people every day. As human beings, all of us must be conscious enough to keep ourselves and our own surroundings clean, neat, and hygiene, and also to keep up in our strategy COVID-19 to be stay out from the globe, Earth planet. And moreover, I want to tell with the quotes, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. Let us all join together and conserve the nature uniformly. So we might have to follow the government guidelines, and we have to strictly keep it in mind. We have to maintain 3 or 4 points. Namely, first one thing is we have to maintain physical distancing or social distancing. This should be kept in mind every individual of our country. And second thing is we might have to keep we might have to wear mask. We might have to wear mask. Unless otherwise, it will be very difficult to save the livelihood of the human beings. And third one is we might have to keep our hands clean. We have to use a sanitizer. We might have to we have to clean water with the soap and other things so as to be very clean always. So if we follow all the, and another fourth point is we should not go out unnecessarily without any purpose, without any reason, unless otherwise any emergency arises, we should not move from home. So if we follow these things at some moment and until the vaccination comes over for that period, anyhow, it may, I think that the God may give us on August 15 or some other days or nearby days, we may bless and we may bless the God. We may take the God go to bless us over in the coming years, over in the coming days, to stay away from this corona and also to be have a safer life and to live together in a happy and to bring a normal life in future also, as like in earlier days. So with this, I will make a sincere thanks to all the participants for your patience listening, and I may place my heartfelt gratitude and sincere, I will say, grateful to the authorities of the Sri Chandra Prabhu institution, and particularly most respected the principal sir and the coordinator and other research faculty members for the giving great opportunity on this day to share my feelings and opinions and ideas over in this online webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Ramachandran, sir?
Ma'am, this is a questioning
Yes,
session,
madam.
ma'am.
Yeah. Sir, there is question from participants. Participant
Yes.
B.R. Balaji asks, is there any possibility of the coronavirus spread during this rainy season?
Sir?
What the
Audible,
question?
sir?
Is there any possibility of coronavirus spreading during rainy season?
Yeah, it is not based on rainy, non-rainy. Okay, as WHO gave a clear principles, guidelines, it won't be in heavy in case of sunlight period or very hot period or in rainy period. It will come. It may not come. Only it depends upon our
Hello,
hands.
sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes, tell me.
I feel feedback from sir. When will I get certificate, sir?
Pardon?
I feel that feedback link, sir.
Okay.
Then when will I get certificate, sir?
You will get it. You will get it.
Sir, please
The authority,
continue, sir.
the institution will
Continue.
give you. No problem.
Then you continue, sir. Please, sir. Tilaga, ma'am. Next question, please, ma'am. Next question,
Yeah.
please, ma'am.
There is question from Pankaj Gupta. Is there any changes in ozone layer during this lockdown period?
If there is any
Changes in ozone layer during
yes,
this lockdown.
yeah, it is there because of the prohibition in the operation of the production, shutdown of industries. There will be to the minimum level. It leads to advantages over to many nations. Thereby, it leads to success. Thereby, slowly, gradually, it's developing and improving. The climate change and environmental change, ecosystem has been developed, and the air pollution has been controlled, and the water pollution has been minimized to greater extent. And thereby, what happened? People are very happy, though they are inside the house, they are in their home. They are very happy, though they are not coming out. Many people, of course, they are feeling very happy over because of this environmental change due to this happening.
So there is another
I have a
question
question.
Yes.
from Anil Kumar Sharma. What
Yes.
should be done to maintain our atmosphere clean as it was in complete lockdown?
Pardon, what should be done when there will be
What should
complete
be
government?
What should be done to maintain our atmosphere clean as it was in complete lockdown?
Yeah, we made that's what the Pakistan is right now doing. What the Pakistan, as I told in the one of the slide, Pakistan is facing so many problems. Of course, they started a green policy, green stimulus policy to win this pandemic. What they adopted, they going for planting many saplings, and they are going on pouring water, and they are giving employment for youth, and thereby they are controlling the emissions. So likewise, voluntarily we have to take responsible. Voluntarily, we might have to take responsible or to control this. And of course, it will be now. Anyhow, in future also, it is in our hands, not by the government. We might have to be go in car with 4 people, not for single people, for purchasing vegetable or going shop. Individual cars are to be avoided. Whereas in case of Mumbai, whereas in case of Kolkata or in case of Delhi, a house has 6 cars, individual, per individual 2 car, 3 car. Okay, they go for vegetable purchase, for car, take a car to a short distance, 1 kilometer. This trend has to be changed in business cities in India, metropolitan cities in India. So thereby it should be we are responsible, if we are accountable, if we are knowing the environment and situation, we should go for contribute our willingness to go in for to develop the ecosystem, biodiversity in a greater extent.
So last question.
Ma'am, wait a minute, ma'am. Sudha, ma'am, kindly ask your question, ma'am. Sudha Vaishnav, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I am on the line, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you
Please,
for
ma'am.
the
Please.
opportunity. Yes, sir. Actually, as you said, our atmosphere is highly come down with due to some pollutions due to the lockdown. But there is a high medical wastage is going on now, like mask and hand glove. So there will be higher biological wastage. What will the solution for it? How it will be disposed, or how this will be in future?
Yeah, very apt question. I am very happy over this question. It's a major problem even before.
No, because I myself use 453 masks when I do out in a walk, but I used to dispose it. But I think whether it is a disposable or it will affect the environment, like that, I will think. So I really want to know how it will be disposable.
Yeah, you are correct, madam. You are correct, and your question is very appropriate. I am very happy over your question. One thing is that this problem is major cause before Corona. Before Corona, e-waste is a major cause for the environment and good ecosystem biodiversity challenges. Right now, all industries, as you also pointed out regarding pharma, productivity, and also this wearing of mask, this wastage. Simply they are burning out. They are burning out. They are putting under the ground. So there will be no problem over this. It won't affect much. The government is taking much precautions. Okay, the government of India, the guidelines also given by WHO. The guidelines also given by WHO. According to that, they are following. No need to fear about this on the grounds of environment, ecosystem. It never affects. So they are maintaining, they are following the strategies, policy given by the WHO. Accordingly, they are burning it, or they are putting on. And even now, when they are going for awareness campaign, the government is going on awareness campaign, they are insisting all the individuals who are wearing mask, don't throw it outside. They are insisting us to keep it in a closed dustbin. So you see that it's one of the guidelines of the WHO. So you see that when it is packed, when it received by corporation or municipal or government authorities, automatically they will, once they receive from their side, they will burn it, or they'll put under the ground. And they'll put under the ground. No need, and it won't affect majorly. And moreover, you see the data, you see the statistics as far as concerned to India and even to Asia, in case of Nepal, even in case of Sri Lanka, even Bangladesh, Pakistan, it will be in around 4 lakhs or 3 lakhs, not more than as like compared to US, United States of America, Brazil, Italy. Only these countries are facing much troubles and facing consequences, and also facing such issue what you have been told right now. And they are also following the guidelines. What the guideline is, burning out that wastage, and or they have to open the door, open the ground, and they put the soil over that, and they pack it over on the ground. No, it won't never affect. It's a waste. Of course, it won't affect any human body, human health, and good measures have been, good policy has been established, and no need to worry. And moreover, it won't affect, it won't cause much like as compared to e-waste, like CD or pen drive waste, or even any devices, hardware devices. It's not as like that. It will be a different. It will be degradable one. Degradable. No need to worry.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So the surgical mask we use,
Pardon? Hello.
Sir,
Yes.
Is COVID-19 naturally created or artificially created to destroy our system?
Oh, it's a question. It's the question when U.S. White House President, U.S. President Trump has clearly, first man in the globe, has pointed out it's a thing like this, and we can't know. Now the team has been sent to China, whether it is man-made or it's natural made. Still the research is going on. Some experts, some scientists have been sent to Wuhan. There will be an Wuhan Institute of Virology. Wuhan Institute of Virology. There are some people are claiming, even Japan is also claiming, even you can say Italy is claiming, US in support of US, many nations are claiming. Even our minister, one of the cabinet minister, road-based minister, also 20 days before in India, he also come out to media and told that it's a man-made one. Central Minister of India has come out that he categorically stated it to the media. Cabinet minister under the chairmanship of our Honorable Prime Minister, he told like that. But there will be no conclusion. There will be no, still we can't know, say, scientific conclusion. Once the scientific conclusion comes, results comes, then only we can know it will be caused due to human, or it will be due to the nature, or due to the cause of animals. Still we are what in doubt. We are in dilemma.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
This is the time for vote of thanks. That Tilakam ma'am, Dr.
Yes.
I request Tilakam ma'am to present a vote of thanks.
Good evening. Now is the time to show our gratitude in the form of word thanks. On behalf of Sri Chandraprabhu Jain College, it gives me immense pleasure to convey our thanks and deep sense of appreciation to Dr. R.Ramachandran sir. As although you are from Commerce Department, your presentation shows how much you are in concern about the environment. Whatever you said regarding our environment, climate change, resurrection of polluted water resources, air quality, impact on agriculture and biodiversity, all are absolutely true. I hope your speech will ignite the minds of participants to care for our Mother Earth. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable and excellent presentation.
Thank you for the institute. I want to say one point as my friend in University of Florida in US, he gave me an information through Facebook, and he told that it's a great, remarkable and hallmark for the Sri Chandraprabhu College of Minjur. This is the contemporary issue. Right now, what happened? My friend in IIT Delhi has come over to a program, webinar, online program. Right now, it's going on right now in the same timings at Delhi IIT on challenges of biodiversity and what will be the way forward. It's a pioneer institute that I'm congratulating, and it's a very happy moment of this institute going on to take into many webinars. I have been seeing many webinars organized only in southern part of India. I will rightly say southern part of India, even not in Mumbai, even not in Hyderabad, even not in Bengaluru, even not in Mysore, even not in any part of southern part till up to Mumbai. But in northern part, it will be somewhat different. And Banaras University or some other university, they will be conducting more webinars. Whereas here, the Chennai, the particularly Sri Chandraprabhu College of Arts and Science in Minjur, Chennai, is a great applaud and great salute for conducting and enriching and encouraging and elevating all the fraternity, all the academics, industrialists, and also common people and the learners and students over to gain a more knowledge. So survival will be the fittest. So we might have to update, we have to develop, we have to learn many things so as to survive in this society. Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, Principal Sir, and to the coordinator, sir, for providing me an opportunity. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir, on the YouTube live,
I extend, sir, shall I continue?